All right, welcome everyone to this Q&A. Again, want to welcome everyone. To this Q&A. So, wasn't really a question here. I mean, sort of a question, but I want to look at something on social media. Not that we haven't spoken about social media before, but this is another good point. Another good point to drive home. Someone put up a post saying, first of all, you're probably going to step on someone's toes. This is someone who converted. And the question is, which comes up a lot at this time of year, is, wishing happy holidays to someone who's a Christian, right? Are you allowed to say Merry Xmas, right? Answer is no. You should really say Happy Holidays or, season's greetings or something like that. But the post here says, how can you wish happy holidays? Really, happy holidays is probably a problem. Season's greetings is more par, right? Let's say it's more, I would say, more user friendly than saying that because you don't want to acknowledge their holiday. But the person puts up a post. We'll see the reaction to the post, and then I'm going to comment on that. And that is, how can you say happy holidays to someone who's celebrating a pagan god? We shouldn't do this. Shouldn't even speak of his name. Saddens me that, you see all the assimilation in the States. I mean, it's pretty much everywhere. But, you see, especially in the States, this is our downfall. We celebrated Hanukkah. Now we're basically telling them it's great. They're celebrating their own holiday, wish them a happy time. Why? Yeah, because someone give me a good Torah explanation. Yeah, you don't necessarily want to offend people, but at the same time, you don't say Happy Xmas. I get it. So you want to say season's greetings, that's less problematic. Definitely less problematic. Yeah. So either we're going to help and destroy either we'll help build or destroy a victory over evil. This action can push our soldiers to be victorious, right? Like the Rambam says, any action we do can tip the scale, right? Can definitely tip the scale for good, or God forbid, to the side of evil, the Rambam says, right? What if it would help defeat them? What if it help defeat darkness? Right? We all need to think of this. The light doesn't fit in the darkness. We're not asked to fit in anymore, just a random thought. We should learn more Torah, say more Tehillim, right? Say more Psalms, etc. So I can understand. I can understand where someone says that can be offensive. Why? Because people want to be politically correct. They don't want to offend people, right? God forbid, we should offend people by standing up for the truth. Yeah. So, best case scenario. So, people don't get this either. They'll even if a person's Jewish, they're not going to say Happy Holidays necessarily. They may say Happy Hanukkah, yeah. So they're expecting you to say Happy their holiday, right? They can't say that. That's a problem, right? That would be a problem. So saying season's greetings, that's a problem, right? Definitely less of a problem. The question is, like, how can you tell somebody, Happy Xmas and you're celebrating a pagan god? Good. So they're venting. I get it. It's a lot of assimilation. A lot of people commenting on this, basically saying, or some of them, yeah, this is what we should say. This is what this rabbi said to say. Someone else said, whatever, they were venting. Now, a person got offended by basically saying, and this is what we're going to comment on, or whatever, this whole thing, basically saying, I saw a bunch of Jews converts, no-eyed Christians, getting in a whole argument, right? They're getting in a whole argument. Now, if a Christian says to a Jew, on their holiday, Happy Hanukkah, so shouldn't that person reciprocate and say, yeah, on their day they should say Happy Xmas? Now we get a problem. That you can't say. That you're not allowed to say. Yeah. So again, season's greetings is Parv. Right? That's Parv. You're not acknowledging their holiday, per se. So a person says, okay, there's a whole big argument here, right? And this is what happens on social media. People want to stick up for the truth. People have falsehood. They argue. I'm not saying it's worthwhile to get an argument, right? Probably total waste of time, right? Not going to go anywhere. Okay. But it's further what the person says is problematic. Now, the person says, I don't like what's going on here, right? I don't want to stand by and see lazy Jews criticize non-Jews. I don't know if it's about lazy Jews. Could be. Right? Could be. But, if a non-Jew wants me to say Happy Xmas, I can say season's greetings. And say, why won't you say? They may put it in your face. They may say, why won't you say Happy Xmas? Because we believe it's pagan. We believe it's a false religion. I don't think it's going to go that far. Yeah, it's probably not going to go that far. But yeah, people are sticklers for the truth. Christians think they have the truth. Muslims think they have the truth. We believe we have the truth, right? And we do have the truth, right? So the person says, I have no problem arguing with people, right? But I don't think this is the right time, right place. Why should I convert, right? So it could be there's something else going on here, right? But to see something like this, it makes you not want to be a Jew. Now, no one says you have to be a Jew, right? There is a lot of infighting, true, amongst Jews. So on Facebook, they say it's a toxic environment. True. Who says you have to be involved? Right? Who says the person has to waste their time even answering these people? Right? It's a waste of time. I agree. Definitely agree. Right? They're not involved in this. Okay. But they don't want to tolerate bad behavior. And this is desecration of God's name. Right? I don't know about that. Right? One single post has over 200 comments. Right? So the person ends by saying, I wish all the rabbis would speak to eliminate toxic Judaism. Now that's easier said than done. Right? We'll address this piece by piece. We'll address the end first. And if rabbis come out and say X, Y, and Z, who says people are going to listen? Doesn't mean you don't have to rebuke. Don't have to rebuke. It's obviously obligations to rebuke, even though, right, Torah says, there's an obligation to rebuke. Torah says, the book of Leviticus chapter 19. And it says, it shouldn't bring you to sin. So we've spoken about this. If you can rebuke someone and not embarrass them, not cause, you call them names or embarrass them or whatever, right? But people say we don't know how to rebuke. So I don't know how to rebuke. I shouldn't do it. Right? I'm exempt. That's not true. Let's make clear that's not true. Right? And the reason it's not true, because there will be cases, even if nobody listens, you have an obligation to rebuke. This is a very complex thing. Right? This is an oversimplification. But there are times you for sure have to give rebuke. Someone told me you get an obligation every time you give rebuke because that's what the Torah says. Okay. But they're lacking a lot of information here. Tons of information. Even though it's what the Torah says literally, you got to know what case it applies. Doesn't apply across the board. If they're gonna hate Jews more because you rebuke, there is an exemption. Doesn't mean in all cases. Does not mean in all cases. Right? So first of all, again, I'm getting to the end before I get to the beginning. But first of all, okay, I agree. You have one post that's 200 comments. This is a very hot topic. So my simple answer is, what are you doing on social media? Yeah, that's one thing. People ask me the same thing. Okay. But in general, we're not going to get involved in something like this. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to do anything, but I'll explain why it's not desecration of God's name. Right? So the question here is, should we, the rabbis, get involved? Should we get involved? If people are toxic, what a person says, they're not listening. Toxic definition, they're angry. They got an axe to grind. It might be a legitimate axe to grind. The problem is today, and I'm sure it's not just today, people don't listen. People have their own ideas. People want to do their own thing. Right? And when someone's angry, you don't answer them. They can say, oh, that's the answer. Very good. Why am I so angry? No, they're not interested in an answer. Right? We said many times, someone who's got an agenda, you don't answer them. Okay. Even if we would speak out against it and clarify the issue, you don't think people are going to attack it? You might sit there, right, oppose and say, that, what do you do in this situation? What's the right answer over here without offending anyone? And what's the answer? There's no right answer. Because you're going to offend someone. Because you make clear a Jew cannot say Happy Xmas. You make that clear. Right? So who are you going to offend? Christians, pagans. You're going to offend them. They'll attack you. Why can't you just say it even if you don't believe it? Because the problem. It's forbidden. Yeah, you're not going to convince them. You have to get them to see the way we think. Are they interested? No. Anyone ever dealt with a missionary? A lot of fun deal with a missionary. When they don't have an answer, they give you another question. Now I was in South America. I had these Mormons, come to my door. They weren't the brightest guys I ever met. I had 3 questions they couldn't answer. I said, listen, you guys, give me an answer. I'm pretty thick in the head. Give me, go back to your priest, whatever you call them, give me an answer. Don't come back asking other questions when you can't even answer my question. Yeah. So the problem is, you're not talking, you're not talking the same wavelength. You're talking apples and oranges. So when you're talking apples and oranges, you want to answer, it's like speaking like this. You're speaking in different directions. Okay? Right? The person decides to do that, it's their choice. So again, even if I write a post saying for Jews, it's forbidden to say that. You're only allowed to say season's greeting. You can't acknowledge their day. Now, if someone presses you on it, you still can't do it. Right? Now, someone's going to say, but they'll be offended by it. There are things you can't do according to the Torah. There's nothing to do about it. The Torah is not going to change its stance about being anti-pig. The Torah is not going to change its stance about intermarriage. It's not going to change. No matter what you do, it's never going to change. Never going to change. It's never going to change. Never going to change. So if I put that post up, who's going to be offended? Pagans, secular Jews. They're going to be offended. What can I do? The Torah says it's forbidden. So even if you come out and say and give the answer, these toxic people are going to change. You got 200 comments. Yeah, let's say. How many of those comments people say, wow, I really see your point. That's such a great point. I'm going to change my life now. Unless they're already thinking there's a problem in their position. Most people are not going to change. They're not going to change. Yeah. So even if rabbis come out and say X, Y, and Z, it's going to do anything? Not going to do anything. Most likely. Sometimes you got to say something anyway. Depends when, where. Right? So let's go back to the beginning. Let's go back to the beginning. Yeah. So the person in the original post says, how can you say Happy Xmas? It's pagan. You're saying it's a great way, great way to celebrate. Essentially what you're saying, you're giving credibility to something. There's no credibility. There is zero credibility. Right? So here, the person says, now, it may be true. See a bunch of Jews converts, no-hides Christians having a terrible argument. Okay? No one says you have to be part of it. No one says you have to watch it. But see, everyone thinks they have the truth. And everyone wants to give over what they think is the truth. And that's where you're going to get an argument because people don't listen. Even if we believe we have the truth, other people don't listen. What are you going to do? You know, I could bang my head against the wall till it bleeds and know it's bad. This is a waste of time. This is a waste of time. But it goes further. It goes further. Yeah. If I see a post, somebody sees a post like this, it's annoying. Yeah. People are going to say, we know what the truth is. Okay. You want to talk with, with Christians, why I can't acknowledge them, why we think it's wrong. You know, I had someone contact me, they were Messianic. You know, it's like, I just want to learn about Judaism. I said, give up the J guy. I just want to learn about Judaism. I'm like, you give up the J guy, we'll talk. You know, well, it's not fair. I'm not really a pagan. I don't really bring Christianity. Why do every people shun me? Because he's a piece of garbage. You got to throw him in the garbage. Bottom line. That's what you got to do. I should teach you about Judaism when you're going to hold on to Christianity? No. Go on from, but other people contact me. I said, go find a Messianic rabbi. It's not me. And 3 out of 4 were happy with it. They were happy with that. I said, okay. I sent them other information. Check it out. You throw the J guy in the garbage. We'll talk. One person, like, you rejected me. This other one rejected me. All I want to do is learn. Yeah, you want to build up your stupid beliefs, build it up stronger based on Torah learning. No, ain't going to be from me. That's for sure. The whole thing's based on a lie. So now, a person sees a post like this. You're going to get involved, or you have to. I know some people will. Some people just right up their alley. They're in for a good fight. They like arguing with people. Okay? Personally, I think it's a total waste of time. Total waste of time. Now, person makes here a very strong statement. Very, very strong statement. Yeah, what's the strong statement here? The strong statement is they're having a horrible argument, and I'm sick of the Jewish community. Right? Or nearly sick. Let's quote it right. Nearly sick with the Jewish community. Because the Jews are involved. Why are they fighting with other people? And especially, why are they going to fight with other Jews? Okay. That I hear. Why get involved in the first place? Very good. But the person takes it further. Person goes further. I'm in the process of conversion. I want to convert. I believe in the right things. I see something like this. It makes me not want to convert. Makes me want to even be secular. Yeah. I don't want to sit by and watch lazy Jews criticize non-Jews. Now let's analyze these two statements. Whatever we see around us, we are our own worst enemy. Whatever we see around us that secular Jews do, or even Orthodox Jews. I see plenty of things Orthodox Jews do I don't like. Especially by hygiene. Major pet peeve of mine, most people know. But I'll tell you, there's an issue here. Right? What's the issue? The issue is that a person says, okay, I can't say what's going on. Why should I bother converting? I'm going to stay secular. Okay, so you don't have an obligation to convert. No one has an obligation to convert. You can stay in no-hide, keep the no-hide laws, have a portion of the world to come. It's a lot easier. Still eat shrimp. Someone told me, so I love to convert, but I like to eat shrimp. Okay. So we don't need you anyway. Very good. So eat shrimp. Okay. They still have a portion of the world to come. Right? Now, the second part of the statement is, I don't want to stand by and watch lazy Jews criticize non-Jews. Now, if we believe we have the truth, we knock out a non-Jew for their beliefs. Really, is there anything wrong with it? No. Is there anything going to come of it? Probably not. It's probably a waste of time to have these arguments. You got 1 in 1,000 or more that maybe will think about what you have to say. Maybe. I'm saying 1 in 1,000 being generous. I think it's even much higher than that. But okay. Now let me ask you the $1 million question. The $1 million question is, if I see something like this, what does that affect one way or the other if I'm going to keep mitzvahs and convert or not? Or if I'm going to be a Jew and keep Torah? Well, what difference does it make what you see in something like this? I can understand, a person saw, a rabbi embarrass somebody or a friend of theirs, let's say, that can have a major effect. And it can affect others as well. Because people will say, oh, this person says you got to live by these ideals and these ideals, and he's over Torah prohibition. He loses a portion of the world to come. Why should I listen to him? Why should I listen to anything any rabbi says? Very good. Not the first time I've heard such an argument. Because they'll see how people act, and they'll say there's a contradiction, there's a double standard, right? The person's learning how to drive. The person's teaching them drive like a maniac. They say, do as I say, not as I do. That's a contradiction. Famous Aristotle, no difference. Acted like an animal in many ways. So students caught him and said, listen, is Aristotle the great mind? Does Aristotle act like an animal? Well, Bertrand Russell, right? Famous teacher of ethics, professor of ethics, totally unethical. They asked him, how could you be so unethical and teach ethics? And he said, if I taught mathematics, expect me to be a square. So for Jews, yeah, that's a contradiction in terms. We live with a lot of contradictions. Not that we should, but we do. We do things that we shouldn't do. Okay. We are affected by what we see. We're affected by our environment. So if we see something, you see someone who's, who should be on a higher level, and all that, and do other things, right? What should happen? Right? What should happen? Oops. What should happen over here? Simply what should happen is, person can say, okay, don't mix up Jews and Judaism. But if someone, let's say, is a rabbi, they do things wrong, it leads them to question about the whole system. If he does it, right? If he does it, there's something wrong with the system. That person should be taken out of their position. Okay. Right? Let's say. And their rabbi's been thrown off their position because of it. Whatever they've done. People understand in general, I say this all the time, if you move to a Jewish community and you see how Jews act, and you still want to convert, either you're the real deal or a little bit wacko. So people will say, we understand. There's Jews and Judaism. Even Orthodox Jews can do things wrong. True? But let me ask, even if that's the case, now it gets worse if a person abused the position and you trusted them and they did things that they should never have done, right? Everyone's got an evil inclination. The greater the person spiritually, the greater the evil inclination. But a person can be totally thrown off. A person could say, wow, this person did it and that person did it, why not? I had someone tell me, I was even in a conservative synagogue. I had someone tell me many, many years ago, the person said, when the rabbi said the Shemona Esrei, he finishes in like a minute and a half, less. So he says, when he finishes, I finish. Ma Kesher. Well, what's the connection? So if he finishes in half a minute, you should finish in half a minute? What if it takes you longer to speak to God about what your needs? For him, he has nothing to ask for, so he just reads the words and finishes. Reads them a mile a minute, probably doesn't understand anything he's saying. Okay, I should imitate that. I should imitate bad behavior. That's what they're telling me. This is spiritual. I'm not talking physical here. I should imitate bad behavior spiritually. So this person does it in half a minute. I should also do it in half a minute. Doesn't make any sense. Right? So there are things I can understand. And I know of a story where, somebody's child got abused. physically abused, and the person who did it, everyone wanted to protect. They wanted to protect. Person said, you can't protect him. The person's guilty. Get him out of his job. They went to the authorities. They put so much pressure on this person and their family and to move out of town. They did what they had to do. When there's a danger, person's a moser. What's the definition of a moser? Someone turns someone into the secular authorities or even Jewish authorities. When it's wrong to do. You turn someone in, you snitch on them when it's wrong to do. If someone's causing damage, you do whatever it takes to stop the damage. You don't have to go ask a rabbi in that. If you saw someone act in an inappropriate way, you can turn them in. Not a question. Not a question. Yeah, but if you do it, and you do it when you're not allowed to, for sure, you use your portion of the world to come. One of the worst, it's one of the worst things that a Jew could do, is be a moser, be considered a snitch. Right? It's dangerous. That person's dangerous because it's close to the authorities. And if he doesn't like you look at them the wrong way, they can make up a whole story about you and you could lose everything. People are extremely dangerous, despise these people. Totally despise. So I would say looking the other way, it depends what it is. If it's something very severe, yeah. But the question is, let's say in this case I just used, family has to move out of town. What if the family said, we got no support from the religious community? Nobody helped us. Nobody backed us. What if they decide, you know what? We're done with Judaism. We're going to leave. I've spoken about this before, but I'm going to hit it a little different way. Now, are they justified? They may feel they're justified. I know somebody's similar situation. They say that the community didn't, step up to the plate for them, didn't help them, and in different ways, even though other people said they did or whatever. They're basically secular Jews, or at best, modern, Orthodox. I mean, really modern, if you want to call it that. Most of them secular. Now, you can't judge someone unless you've been in their shoes. But at the same time, they'll say the community did not help us. So if the community did not help us, I don't want to have anything to do with the community. In other words, who are they going to take it out on? God. They're going to say, I'm going to keep your Torah, I'm going to keep your mitzvahs. Look what happened over here. Look what happened to my kid. No one did anything. No one steps up to the plate. There's that. They're angry. I get it. What does it have to do with Judaism? Now, people say it has everything to do with Judaism. We're the leaders. The leaders are a joke. How come they didn't do this? Good question. Again, one case I'm thinking of, the claim was, head of the community or this community did. They did things. The other people said they didn't go far enough. They didn't do whatever. Is that a good enough excuse to say we're not going to keep Torah mitzvahs anymore? They're angry. They're angry. So again, you can't judge someone unless you've been in their position. During the Holocaust, the same thing. People were religious before, whole family got wiped out. They're angry at God. I think it was a Satmar Rebbe, blessed memory. Someone came to him from a blessing. He said, you see that person over there? Has a tattoo on his arm. He still puts on tefillin every day. He's a religious Jew. Go get a blessing from him. You don't need a blessing from me. Get a blessing from him. His emunah, his belief and faith are still intact after everything they saw. You can't judge them. We cannot judge them. Yeah. And even in a case like this, some say the community did enough. Some say the community didn't do enough. Could a person say, I'm done with the community? And this is the way things work? And they leave Judaism. If they leave Judaism, aren't they liable? Aren't they going to be liable for any transgression they do? They're angry. I get it. No question about it. But just because the community did something, why is that a reflection on God? You're going to say, hey, we're God's chosen people. They have to uphold the Torah. You're right. And what would happen if you got cheated, even in a minor way? Doesn't have to be a major way. You got cheated by an Orthodox Jew. Person, at the outset, their intention will make it easy. Their intention was to cheat the other person. That was their intention. Now, how do you view it? Are you going to say all Orthodox Jews cheat people and I got to be much more careful among Orthodox Jews? Maybe. Got to be careful anyway. Doesn't matter who it is. But at the same time, a person says, I got cheated by this person. Definitely desecration of God's name. We're going to get to that. But isn't it true? This person did it. Who says all Orthodox Jews are bad? You could make that conclusion. It's a false conclusion. You can say that about any ethnic group. Someone's Oriental, did something wrong. You're going to say all Orientals do X, Y, and Z? That's racist. Say it about blacks, Hispanics, anybody. That's totally racist. Say it about Jews, no different. Yeah, but when a person gets burned and it's personal, yeah, you get a lot more angry, right? You're more angry over here. It makes sense. But does that give them the right to spit in God's face at the same time? Just because the community didn't back them, let's say. So again, it's a hard thing to go through. I think it's clear. It's a very hard thing to go through. But the question is, that's where something happened to you personally. This is not personal. Someone put up a Facebook post. I get it. There's a whole question. Can I say Happy Xmas? Yes, it's a question. It's a legitimate question. You're going to get arguments and a lot of people commenting 100%. The Jews there, let's say, we're getting the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they got what to say over here. Halachically, right? According to Jewish law, they have what to say. And they're right. They're 100% right. Now, if it becomes a personal thing, now you got Jews and Christians fighting and arguing. Arguing, I don't have an issue. That I don't have an issue. Whether it's a waste of time or not, you should do it, another issue. Yeah. Argue with them trying to show the light of truth. I don't have an issue with that. But here's the person that, yeah, you got these Jews just saying, all these negative things. If that's really what's going on, yeah, find something else to do. Find something better to go learn Torah. Why are you wasting? The whole point is why are you wasting time on social media? But my question is, what does that have to do with you? What does this have to do with your spiritual process? If you want to go back, be a secular person, then be secular. You hope I know I'd laws. You don't hope I know I'd laws. Okay. What does this have to do with your personal view? You're going to say, it's disgusting. It's disgusting how Jews act. Yeah. Some Jews. Is there a lot of infighting even amongst Orthodox Jews? Yes. Is that the reason the temple was destroyed? Yes. That's why we still don't have a temple? Yes. It's a problem. I agree. Not going to be solved overnight. We are our own worst enemy, but even so. Now I have to get up tomorrow. I'm going to put on tefillin, whether they blaspheme against the other side or not. What does that have to do with personal observance? That's my question. Right? The person said, well, I wouldn't back down for a fight, but I don't think it's the right time for it. Well, what does one thing have to do with another? You're going to convert, fine. You're not going to convert, also fine. Right? By seeing something like this, that, yeah, it's toxic. It's toxic. Why does it affect a person? Why should it affect a person? You're going to say, this is how Jews act? There are Jews that do terrible things. Jews that do a lot of good things. Yeah. But a person can say, I moved into the Jewish community. I had a lot of negative experience. Some people had more negative experience. Some people had less. Whatever it may be. Some people say, I get it. Don't mix up Jews and Judaism. Okay. Yeah, so now they're going to question whether they should convert or not. I don't know one thing necessarily has to do with another. Yeah, most of these Jews have animosity towards themselves. Okay. It's toxic environment on Facebook. Great, get off Facebook. Who said it should be on Facebook anyway? So I would agree. I would agree. What does this have to do with Judaism? Just because you got a bunch of bad eggs and a lot of bad eggs, what does that have to do with your commitment to serving God or not? That's the question. Right? They don't want to be on the sideline. They don't want to tolerate bad behavior. Okay. It's a waste of time to come out against it anyway, probably. Better to focus on other things, more positive things, person's quest for truth. For sure. Right? Someone here says there's a lot of desecration of God's name. That's the last thing. I'll take questions. Right? This is a tremendous amount of chilul Hashem. Now, by strict definition, it's got to be in front of 10 Jews. Right? To be a desecration of God's name. But even so, if someone is sticking up for the truth, right? If someone sticks up for the truth, and other people are offended, so let me ask: is that my problem? Why is that my problem? You can say it's desecration of God's name. I can make a desecration of God's name sticking up for Judaism in a lot of ways, according to that. Oh, it's anti-pig, it's anti-non-Jews, and whatever, anti-intermarriage. Yeah, a lot of things. People get offended by it. This is why I don't have to worry what I say. Because if you stick up for Torah mitzvahs, first of all, you don't lose. But second of all, it's not putting a stumbling block in front of somebody. That we mentioned many times. Not putting a stumbling block in front of someone. Even if you know they're going to blaspheme, doesn't matter. There are times you stick up for Torah, no matter what someone says. That's not your problem. That's not your problem. So in this entire post, first post I don't have an issue with. There's an issue. There is a serious halachic issue saying, Merry Xmas to a non-Jew on their holiday or before their holiday. There's a serious halachic issue. Nothing to talk about. Question is how you get around it. Saying happy holidays, I think, is a problem. Saying season's greetings, you're not acknowledging the holiday. You're just saying season's greetings. Doesn't matter what they think. It's like, oh, he's acknowledging my holiday. Let them think what they want. You're saying something that's very powerful. That's very neutral. Yeah. And there's a lot of simulation, 100%. It shouldn't be done. But we live amongst the non-Jews. What are you going to do? Right? So someone wish you a happy Hanukkah, you say, thank you very much. You can say, season's greetings. That's not forbidden. But you're right. The person said, there's a lot of assimilation, a lot of this. We should not be saying happy Xmas. I see this all the time. I just saw earlier. People I grew up with saying, whoever celebrates happy Xmas. No! That should not be done. Totally not be done. That's exactly what the person's saying. Can anyone give me a good Torah explanation why that's okay? No. There is no good explanation. Forbidden. You got to say season's greetings. You should not say, happy December 25th. All my friends will celebrate. No, that should not be done. Period. That's what they're saying. So much assimilation. I get it. But you make a post like that at the same time, what's that going to do? It's going to bring a lot of comments from Jews and non-Jews. No, we want to show that we're right. We want to bring sources and that. They don't care about our sources. They have their own thing right. It's going to go back and forth. Is there anything really positive going to come out of it? I tend to doubt it. Do I put it up? I understand why they put it up, but what do you need it for? Why do you need the aggravations? This is what it's going to do. Now, Do I believe that's desecration of God's name? No. Other people don't have to like what they say. That's fine. No popularity contest here. They don't have to like it, so what if they don't like it? You put it up there, you're opening yourself up, okay? Bottom line, not desecration of God's name. If they overstep their boundaries, gets personal and then it gets nasty, yeah. I'm not going to say necessarily desecration of God's name. Depends what's said, depends how it's said. Yeah, then you got to be careful for sure. Social media can be very toxic, extremely toxic. Right? Yeah, so I tell people if you're going to post things, whatever you're going to post, try and hit it from all angles. Is someone going to get offended by what you say? There's a chance someone might get offended. You can say, I don't care. I want to put it up. I want people to see it, whatever. Put up a video, different things. Got a lot of hate from it also. People that are, that are Christians, people think religion is garbage and, I should get a better job. Whatever, like a lot of things. I can hide some of the comments. Sometimes I do that. But, at the end of the day, okay. People want to comment negatively. You can say you set yourself up for that. You're going to have trolls no matter where you go. If you're doing a good enough job, you'll have them everywhere. That's part of the course. 100% is part of the course. Now, did I do anything wrong? That desecration of God's name? I had someone tell me, like, wow, you're scamming off all these non-Jews. I can get you, get you into business. I can help you get a job. I'm like, I don't even answer the person. I'm like, I like what I do. Thanks for the opportunity. It's totally not a scam. But anyway, that's not the point. So if a person wants to make a choice, they want to make a choice whether they should be in this process or not. Okay. You want to be an Noahide, stay an Noahide. You want to convert, convert. But if you're going to see a post and a person says things, then like I said, I don't think there's necessarily anything wrong with what they said. With what they said, I understand what they said. I understand what's behind what they said. And I understand people are going to get upset. Right? On both sides get upset. Secular Jews get upset. You should acknowledge them. Christians get upset because they're going to say, why you only say that? Why won't you acknowledge it? What's the problem? Why can't you live and let live? I get it. It's going to set up problems. So we said you should put it up there. But, but again, now with the questions, again, what does that have to do with my personal observance? See, the problem is the person gets burnt by the system, so to speak. They blame the system, they blame God. Yeah. So again, it's very hard to judge that. But why do they get a free pass? Because something happened. They're angry, true? If someone got embarrassed in public, they leave Judaism. Okay, the person who embarrassed them in public loses the portion of the world to come unless they ask forgiveness from the person who grants it. So the other person who goes off, they're not going to pay the price for what they've done against God. They're going to pay a price. They are seriously going to pay a price. Now, if it leads to, them being more, mentally unhealthy and other things, certain things will be exempt by. Person went through a trauma also. It depends what it is. Something like this, it's toxic, true. Can be toxic. But first of all, why do you have to participate in it? Second of all, what are you doing with it? This is what people did. Move on. Now, you're going to claim it's not my fight. I shouldn't do it. I should this. And I'm going to stay secular. Why should people? Okay, that's your choice. No one said you have to convert. Right? No one said you have to convert. Is that a desecration of God's name? I wouldn't go that far. I think it's going too far. Even if it's toxic. I would say that. Yeah, question. Someone here asks, non-Jew prepares all the criteria related to Judaism. Good basic knowledge of Jewish law. Is it possible to convert within 3 months visitation to Israel? No. It's not going to happen. First of all, they want you to be in a community. They want you to be in a community at least for a year. Be able to go through the cycle of all the holidays and this and that. I'm not going to give you a quick conversion. Someone asked me this a long time ago. I took your class and I came to Israel. Am I going to be able to convert within 6 months? I'm like, you never lived in a Jewish community. And even if they would recognize what I've done, that doesn't matter. They're not going to convert you on the spot. Never going to happen. It's going to happen in 3 months? No, give it at least 2 years. At least 2 years. It's not going to happen in 3 months. Because they don't want people here coming, getting conversion and leaving. That's not what they want. Definitely not what they want. There are only a couple of programs here anyway that are recognized by the chief rabbinate that are at least a year and a half, easy. Under certain circumstances, the person shows they have all the knowledge or whatever, they're still not going to convert them straight away. Right? It doesn't matter how much knowledge they have. They have to be in the community. Right? So that's not going to help. That's not going to help. Let me see here. Someone asks, I saw some, 1 second. Totally time to stop worrying about offending people. Yes. I think it's time we don't care. It might be a fascist thing to say, or, what's the word? Being conceited. I don't think so. Right? You can't worry. You got to be careful. You got to be smart. Or say in Boston, you got to be wicked smart. Right? You got to be careful. You don't want to be in people's faces and rub it in their face. That you don't want to do. That for sure you don't want to do. Right? But if people attack you, you have a right to defend yourself. I don't think there's any question. But I have to worry what other people are going to think. Why? You're not interested in offending them outright. That's not what you're interested in doing. Right? So, if you do it, it's more of an issue. But in general, why do I need to worry what other people think? If I were to worry about what other people think, I wouldn't be half the person I am. I had to get slammed enough times to say, doesn't matter what you think. People can look at it as, oh, you think you know the answers. I had someone tell me that. I was like, listen, I've been learning for like 30 years. So it's like I have a PhD in Judaism, pilot higher and deeper, or Papa has dough, right? So I said, you want to catch me in Tanakh? You'll catch me. You want to catch me in Talmud? Things I don't remember? You'll catch me. But you're not going to make me look like a fool because you think you know something, you never learned anything. I'm not saying you don't have you might not have a good question, right? But, it's like a person read a Wikipedia article on Judaism and said, I'm going to answer you up. I got all the answers. No. Right? I have to worry the person's going to get offended, so they get offended. Oh, you're just, so right-wing and so closed-minded. Yeah. Never claim to be open-minded. Never claim. Do I believe it's the truth? Yeah. People are going to get offended by that? They'll get offended. I'm going to lose any sleep over because they get offended? Why should I lose sleep over it? Not going to lose sleep over it at all. Listen, you got to be careful. You don't want to make enemies if you don't have to. But some things you can't get around. Mentioned this many times. So someone gets offended, they get offended. What are you going to do? You're just going to look bad. I've looked bad a number of times. Okay. And there's nothing to do. Some things you can't just get around. Finished. Right? So someone says, wow, you have to start worrying, you have to stop worrying, offending people. Attacks come from every direction, right? You don't want to, you don't want to set yourself up for that. But you make a post like that, of course you're going to get attacked. Some level. Not everyone's going to love it, okay? Fine. I don't think you have to worry what other people are going to think. You don't want to be offensive to be offensive. Yeah. But you have a right to stick up for Judaism, right? No question. Right? Right? So someone asks, okay, so at that point, shouldn't you take a stand? I'm not saying you have to. My argument is, why are you even getting involved in it? Why are you wasting your time on it? Now, if you tell me you're a woman, you know, you don't have an obligation to learn Torah, just what applies to you, okay? I'm sure there are better things a person can do with their time. I'm sure there are much better things a person can do with their time. Even if you don't have an obligation to learn Torah. Plenty of things. This is a waste of time. Nothing beneficial is going to come out of it. It's just going to get people aggravated. That's all it's going to do. Can you wish them X? X Hamas. Yeah. Yeah, if you say it like that, you can. Happy Xmas, you can't say. That is forbidden. The only thing that sounds neutral that you could say is season's greeting. Happy holidays is the problem. The reason it's a problem because you're acknowledging their holiday. It's a pagan thing. How can I acknowledge it? It doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what they believe. Even what we call minhag avosechem b'yadechem, it's only a custom by them. I'm not talking about the Bible thumpers. Most people, it's a custom by them. They don't know anything about their own religion, most of them anyway. Yeah. But you're acknowledging their holiday. You're acknowledging a pagan thing. Right? So you have to, season's greeting is about the best thing you can say. Everything else is going to be problematic. Someone says, I saw some Jews posting Merry Christmas. Yeah, it's a problem. Someone says, post a comment, kindly worded. And they removed your comment. Very good. Welcome to the club. Yeah. Right. And wrote someone else saying they're blocking people who are against it for their blindness. Yeah. So you can be as nice as pie, as I would say, but it doesn't mean you're not going to get blocked. Doesn't mean people aren't going to get offended. Right? I would tell you, I would tell you this whole thing is just a waste of time. I got plenty of people I can say it to. I'm not even going to bother. It's just not going to register. Yeah. They're going to say, I don't believe in what they believe, but live and let live. I should acknowledge it. They're good people. Okay. I want to say, plenty want to say on that. It doesn't matter. It's not going to go anywhere. In this case, giving rebuke, it's not going to go anywhere. Waste of time. Total waste of time. Right? And for most Christians, someone here points out it's just like a federal holiday, right? Right? Doesn't mean that much to most people. But they do it. It's, it's like Jews or they'll make a big distinction there. They like Hanukkah candles and have a Passover Seder. That's about they go to the synagogue and Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur a little bit. The same thing. That's the custom in their family. That's what they do. Okay. This is what they do. They go to church every Sunday? No. They go once a month? Probably not. So most people, you're right. Probably just a federal holiday. That's the way they look at it. They put up the tree and decorate it or whatever. So what? Yeah, I agree. I agree. It's just, things get heated. Things get heated. But yeah, doesn't mean a whole lot. Definitely doesn't mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot. But it's, someone, looks at it and says, I can't believe they're arguing about this and it looks so bad. Why should I have anything to do with the Jewish community? Okay, so who says you have to? You don't want to convert, don't convert. You want to stay secular, what do I need this for? It's your choice. I think seeing something like this, okay, you see arguments between Jews and non-Jews, okay? What is that? A person, keep in mind, after 120 years, after a person dies, God's not going to ask you about what these other people did. He's not going to ask you, they did this or they did that or they did the other thing. God is going to ask you, what did you do? How did you live your life? Did you help others? Were you moral according to the Torah? Did you give charity? Did you do what you were supposed to do? That's what he's going to ask you. We're honest in business. They're going to ask you why this person do this and that person do that. They're going to ask you that question. For sure, not going to ask you that question. So I worry about all these other things. Problem is, we see something, we hear something, it becomes more personal. We get all, shaken up by it. We get worked up about it. Let's say better. We get worked up about it. Why? Someone says something, and I've mentioned this many times, that, when somebody says something and it's obnoxious and it hurts, family member says, let's say, get under your skin. Very much get under your skin. Right? Maybe they're doing it just to get under your skin. But let's say not. What do you have the power to do? You know what you have the power to do? You have the power to react. You have the power to react. Are you going to let it get to you or not? And if you're more sensitive, so what do? You got to work on it more. And what's the best way to work on it? So again, I would say, no matter what anybody says, whoever it is, whether it's a parent, a sibling, a child, a relative, a coworker, whatever it is, no matter how blatant it is, whatever they say, you got to look at them like they are mentally challenged, which they are in many ways. So somebody's mentally challenged. Even if it's offensive, even if you want to knock them out with a wicket or your Louisville slugger or whatever, why am I going to let them get it, get under my skin? What's the answer? Because it's built up over years. This is the same thing. This is, it's hard to change that. Okay. Changing one character trait is hard. I get it. But the mantra in this case is sticks and stones. Let them say what they want. Doesn't matter who it is. Doesn't matter how offensive it is. And if someone starts saying all these things, as I heard someone say last week, and they got the brain like a watermelon, as they say in Boston, who the heck cares? Who cares? They got the head like a watermelon. Yeah, they say stupid things, obnoxious things. Okay. So just picture them in a straitjacket hanging upside down. That's what you got to picture. Problem is, if we've been this way a long time, and these things bother us and they get under our skin, you got to work on a way to get it out. To say that if someone says it, doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Like someone said to me years ago, that stung a lot more than it would sting now. Yeah, and that is, being around with you in public's embarrassing. That's a pretty potent thing to say. Now, I would agree, probably shouldn't have been where I was, dressed the way I was, okay. You look visibly like an Orthodox Jew, it can make people feel uncomfortable in public, especially what's going on today. Today, if the same person would make the comment, my answer would be, it's your problem. This is the way I dress. You don't like it? You go like Google. That'll be the end of the conversation, right there. Am I going to give it a second thought? I'm not going to give it a second thought. Doesn't even sting. Right? That's how much I don't care. And that's what it has to be. Because that's what people want. They want to make fun of you. They want to say they're legitimate. You're not. They want to put you down, and that's what the last thing you want that you're going to allow. Because you have to have self-esteem. You got to believe in yourself. You got to believe in what the Torah says. I can sit there and say, You're just a dimwit. Start calling them names I wouldn't recommend. They're like, come on, you don't know anything about Judaism. You know zero. You can't even read the Aleph Beis. I can wipe the floor with you in 10 different ways. You're not going to convince them. Being all abrasive and open-minded until your brains fall on the floor, that can have an effect also. But they don't want to listen and they just want to make fun. That's what they do. So then whenever a relative like that, or relatives like that, everybody does. Oh, you think you're so holy? I had someone tell me, come on, save this for your classes. Get off your soapbox. So what's the answer? People want to hear it, they'll hear it. They don't want to hear it. They say, yeah, I got the message. Next. They don't want to hear it. Truth hurts. Sit there, get offended. Lose sleep over it. Doesn't mean you can't answer. You got to sit there like an adult and say, and say nothing. I wouldn't say that. It's not going to go anywhere. But if you have a quick answer, you put them in their place. That's it. This is who we are. This is what we do. I had someone say, oh, is that one of the rules? I remember I told the story last year. I got locked in my bathroom. So it took like 40, 45 minutes. My wife and I to get out. Whatever, so I could get out. So I was telling somebody, like, this is just the end of the conversation. And I told this person, I wish I could have prayed, but I was in the bathroom. So you can't pray in the bathroom. So the person asked, and I really think about this when I said it, it was just like I was just throwing it out there, and the person said, oh, is that one of the rules? You know what my answer was? I said, yeah, that's one of the rules. Can't think Torah in the bathroom. That's it. Now, you understand what's behind what they said? Oh, is that one of the rules? You can't even think anything in the bathroom? That makes sense? Oh, you can't do anything without praying on it? I mean, the list goes on. Sit there and take it serious. I'm going to get under my skin? Why would I let it get under my skin? I got plenty of other things to get under my skin. Plenty of other things to worry about. I'm gonna worry about someone who's got a watermelon head. Is gonna say something stupid. I'm gonna flatten them with a pancake, like an absolute pancake in 3 seconds. What for what? They're not gonna listen, it's not gonna go anywhere. There's no point. So that's the answer. Yeah. Oh, is that one of the rules? Yeah. Next. It's good, now I get to vent it out, But I don't get worried about it. Worried about what this person thinks. Everyone's got plenty of what to worry about. Whatever it may be. This ain't one of them. This definitely ain't one of them. You can say it's offensive, it's obnoxious. Okay, it is. I'm not letting people get under my skin. And it's not worth it. Totally not worth it. In many ways. Someone here says, Southern community is trying to build a bridge of respect. Okay, there's a problem here. There's carryover in the sense where, you got quote unquote a lot of different denominations of Judaism. We don't hold by the others. We hold the false religion, whatever they do. Now, if the mother's the Jewish, they're Jewish. We're not saying they're totally not Jewish. Right? But a lot of things they do aren't Jewish. Okay? So, you want to try and draw them closer, invite them to think, okay, there's what to be said for that, doing Jewish outreach. Right? Otherwise, some communities are totally insular. They don't have anything to do with the other communities. Right? And barely to the outside community. There's what to be said for them. Because they don't want the influence. They don't want the negativity. Makes sense? Right? Definitely makes sense. Doing things, let's say for the fire station, the police department, other things, that's a different issue. That's showing gratitude. right? If you're talking about like different groups, different Jewish groups, and this and that, brown nosing for who knows what, that's a problem. That for sure is a problem, right? In different ways, showing gratitude. I think it's a big thing, and I think they appreciate it. They're protecting you. You're showing their appreciation. I don't think there's an issue with that, right? I definitely wouldn't take issue with that. That's a good thing. And here you see what's going on here in Israel. It's unbelievable what religious Jews are doing for secular, for people fighting, sending them food, sending them tzitzis, tefillin, other things, helping in many ways, many ways, even though they're not fighting, physically, and they appreciate it, no question about it. Sending them food, sending them other things. It goes a long way. There's a lot of togetherness right now, and of course, it's going to be what happens after the war. Togetherness goes out the window, right? People forget, and they'll go back to protesting. But for now, showing appreciation is huge. It's because there's the reason is because there's so much tension. Especially here in Israel, so much tension between the secular and the religious. A lot of it based on stereotypes, tremendous stereotypes that have been there since the beginning of the state. Tremendous. It just keeps feeding in, generation after generation. But whatever, that's a whole nother topic. Someone asked Jeremiah chapter 10. All right, let's see Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's see Jeremiah chapter 10. Let's see 1 second. Jeremiah chapter 10. Okay. Jeremiah chapter 10, verse 3 and 4 refers to the statue of a tree. Yeah. Let's see. I'm talking about a tree, silver, gold, fastened with nails, with hammers, sculptured palm tree. Yeah, so you're right. A lot of different things over here. Yeah, it's not a pagan thing. Right? It's definitely not a pagan thing. Right? What does it say over here? First of all, this is prophecy, remember. He says, do not learn, verse 2, do not learn, that said Hashem, don't learn the way of the nations, don't be frightened by the signs of the heavens, that they're frightened by, for the practices of the nations are foolish. Right? If one takes wood, cuts down from the forest, found by an artisan, yeah, you embellish this tree. Yeah, they're saying where it's forbidden. They don't do no harm, nor can they do you good. They don't have any power, right? Right? Simple explanation. Simple explanation is they use it for whatever they use it for. You don't have to be afraid of it. Doesn't mean anything, right? It can't do good or bad trees unless God wills it, but not because of what they think. They don't go in their ways. That's just a different way of saying, you're not going in their ways. This is one of the ways you don't go in the ways of non-Jews, right? That's what it represents. In general, I didn't see any commentaries over there. I have to look it up more, what exactly he's talking about. But in general, you don't go in the ways of non-Jews, period. Right? That's the reference. That is the reference over there. Yeah. Let me see. Any other questions here? Someone asked, the Kohanes in the temple eat mostly meat. Yeah. Remember some of the sacrifices they ate. Some of them went were burnt, right? So some of them they got part of, they didn't get part of, right? So they ate a lot of meat. So I guess if you're a Kohen, you don't like meat, you're in trouble. Right? It's very hard for a Kohen to be a vegetarian, right? Because a lot of the sacrifice they're gonna, don't forget they get some of the skins from it, to make coats or make other things. They get meat from it, from some of them. Yeah, if they're a vegetarian, they got a problem. They are getting meat, no question. They don't, no question. Yeah, any other questions? One thing keep in mind, comment here, which I didn't see until now. One thing to keep in mind, there's the benefits. Someone who wants to convert, right? There's the benefit. I'm not saying it should take 5 years. It doesn't have to take 5 years, right? But there's the benefits, if it's longer, average is about 2 years, let's say. But the reason there's the benefit is because it gives you a lot of time to learn and you make less mistakes. You make less mistakes. Again, if a person has a certain level of knowledge under certain circumstances, it could be a quicker process, right? But you benefit if it takes longer. I'm not saying it has to be, I'm not going to say it has to, drag out per se. I think a lot of people feel they're in this process a long time. Before, let's say, before they formally start taking classes, they could be in this process 5, 6 years more. Before there was, somebody mentioned me earlier, or a while ago. It's a common misconception. Who says you're allowed to convert? How many years do people waste, and realizing they could convert when they didn't know they could? It's only if you're born Jewish. Yeah, big misconception. So then you get a lot of years wasted. Okay. As I understand, they want to die, they want to be Jewish before they die. They're getting older. It's going to, it makes sense. Definitely makes sense. But it's to a person's benefit. Obviously, they get the right amount of knowledge. If they have the right amount of knowledge, very good. Right? Then it should go quicker. Right? But hey, a rabbinical court wants to see you be in a community. Definitely for a certain amount of time, unless there's extenuating circumstance. So no extenuating circumstance, no one's converting you on the spot. I got someone telling me I was by you for 2 years, whatever. If you have the right knowledge, very good. But you go somewhere where nobody knows you. You never lived in a Jewish community. You don't know what it means to live in a Jewish community. Why would a local rabbinical court convert you on the spot? Or convert you within a short amount of time? They're not going to do it. Unless there are extenuating circumstances. But there are people in this process a long time. I get it. I get single biggest problem for people is to move to a community. That's the problem. That's the biggest problem. Knowledge a person can get. It takes a while for that also. But someone told me, I'll just tell you this, they were buying me for a couple of years, 2 years, 3 years, till they could finally move. Within the amount of time that they moved, they're in a community, they went to the Beis Din or rabbinical court, I guess they met on Zoom or whatever, but they would have converted within 6 months, probably within 6 months. But they had a, extremely high level of knowledge here. I took other classes, whatever. But, at the end of the day, had it not been for COVID, probably 6 months. That's what they told me, probably about 6 months. So it can happen. It definitely can happen, but not if you're coming from another country. Coming from another country, it's more of a problem. Definitely more of a problem, especially coming here. Right? Or you go anywhere. Even you go anywhere in the States, you live in, or in Europe, whatever, you live in a community. Let's say, you come with, a lot of knowledge, you move in a community. They ain't taking you to the mikveh within a week or two. They want to see you probably for a year, maybe less. Depends on the level of knowledge. Definitely depends on the level of knowledge. I would say it's better, even if it takes longer, that once you get everything down and you're pretty clear, well, it doesn't mean you're not going to make mistakes. Make all the mistakes now. That's the point. Make all the mistakes now. Because what's going to happen is, God forbid, what's going to happen is, the Gemara says, why does a convert get severely punished after conversion? Why can they get severely punished? Because they didn't learn what they were supposed to before. They didn't learn properly what they were supposed to. So the punishment's much more severe. They don't expect you to know everything, okay. Yeah, but if you don't have the requisite knowledge and you continually make mistakes because you didn't prepare well enough, that's a severe thing. Right? That is a severe thing. So it's a step-by-step process. It's not overnight. Again, if someone really has the knowledge, very good. They still ain't converting you on the spot. And probably not within 3 months unless they're extenuating circumstances. Yeah, any other questions? All right. No one has any questions. I'm going to stop here. I just every Tuesday and Thursday, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Israel time. Anyone has any questions? Find me on Facebook at Rabbi Chaim Coffman, Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism, orthodoxconversion.com, or Beyond Orthodox Conversion Judaism on YouTube. There I got Q&As. I have Torah portion of the week, even though I'm behind. Ethics of Our Fathers, controversial issues. You can send me an email, rabbichaimcoffman@gmail.com, RBBI, CHAIMCOFFMAN @gmail.com. Wish everyone a good beginning of the day.